Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Newsbeat. We're live from our studios here at Northridge in Accra. My name is Kenneth. Jesse, let's take a look at our top stories. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Newsbeat. We're live from our studios here at Northridge in Accra. My name is Kenneth. Jesse, let's take a look at our top stories. Rescue operations continue for 8 missing persons following the sinking of a fishing vessel south of Salt Pond in the central region. Rescue operations continue for 8 missing persons following the sinking of a fishing vessel south of Salt Pond in the central region. Investigations to arrest individuals suspected to have stoned to death a man they believed had stolen a bunch of plantain at Mankasim, also in the central region. Senior Staff Association of the University for Development Studies to embark on an indefinite strike on Thursday, May 12th. One-month ban on drumming and noise-making in Accra starts today. Hello again. We start the bulletin from the central region where rescue operations have begun and been intensified for 8 missing persons following the sinking of a fishing vessel south of Salt Pond in the region. The captain of the vessel is feared dead and one observer is reported missing after the large boat sank between the sea waters of Elimina and Takoradi. Information gathered indicates that the Mengzin 11 vessel sank in the early hours of Saturday with all the crew on board, but fortunately some were able to swim to a nearby vessel with the name Mengzin 6. The crew was hauling a net that had many fish in it, according to survivors' account. The crew, it is reported, had some difficulty pulling the net full of fish to the vessel. Around that same time, it was raining heavily, coupled with thunderstorms. According to the survivors, the vessel could not sustain the balance on one side and sank with all the crew on board. The rescue mission began with a nearby vessel, Mengzin 6, and the Ghana Navy later joined. The Navy has been combing the incident area and is still searching for other survivors. So far, the body of the captain of the vessel has been recovered, but the observer on board the vessel is yet to be found. Let's now turn to our video wall for some more specific facts. So the name of the vessel is FV Expenditure 2, and the last known position is 46 south of Salt Pond. The number of crew were 25. 19 of them were Guineans, 6 were Chinese. Total number of persons rescued are 16. And we have 1 person who has been deceased, 4 Chinese, 12 Guineans. Number of crew unaccounted, we have 9 Guineans, 1 Chinese. We have an interview on the back of that, but in the meantime, the West African Center for Counter-Extremism is sending a strong signal that Ghana faces a high risk of terrorism in the wake of political unrest in the Sahel and parts of West Africa. In a report released by the West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, factors such as chieftaincy and ethnic disputes, land conflicts, marginalization of vulnerable groups, and high youth unemployment make Ghana very susceptible to these threats. Now, joining me is Mutaru Mumuni Mukhtar, who is the Executive Director for the West Africa Center for Extreme Terrorism. I understand he's not on the line yet. We'll try to connect with him, and if we do, we'll ask him a few questions concerning that. Let's bring in more stories as 1 month ban on drumming and noise making in Accra has taken effect. The measure precedes the annual Ga Homowo Festival. High Priest of the Ga State, Numo Akwa Mensah, whilst explaining the significance of the period to Metro News earlier, called on residents of Accra to adhere to the directives.
The significance of ban on drumming is very simple and then straightforward. Now, we the girls, we have started this day from time immemorial. This ceremony, this rites from time immemorial. It is the period by which we the girls keep silent before the Creator. Through this period is where we do our fasting, where we do our prayers, where we do our prayer of intercession, prayer of forgiveness, prayer of bumper harvest, and all other good things that should happen to mankind here in Accra, in the country at large. During this period is when we cultivate the sacred corn or the sacred cereal, and then by so doing, we are able to identify the good things and then the bad things that happened to us in the previous years. This is a period where we pray for bumper harvest. This is the period where we pray for a high yield of fish, catch fish from the seas, and then peace, love, unity, and then high protection of humanity here on the Ghana. So you see that it is not just for the Ghana people alone, but every human being here on the Ghana is affected positively by these ban on drumming and noise making. It is an activity that precedes the sprinkling of kokoi and all other activities which is inculcated in the Homowo Festival.
So let's go to our video wall once again and show you the areas that will be affected and those that will be not. So some areas that are not affected are Kole Klote Municipal, which includes Osu and communities within that area. Kpong Katamanso Municipal, which includes Kpong and communities within that area. Krowo Municipal, that includes Nungwa and communities within that area. La Dadikotopon Municipal, which includes La and communities within that area. La Nkwantanan Medina Municipal, which includes Medina and communities within that area. Lejokuku Municipal, which includes Teshi and communities within that area. Tema West Municipal, which includes Tema Community 2 and communities within that area. Tema Metropolis, which includes Tema and communities within that area. We also have Ashaiman Municipality, which includes communities within that area. And these are the areas that will be affected by the ban. We have the Accra Metropolis, which includes Gamashi, which is Accra Central, and communities within that area. Ablekuma South, which includes Kole, Gono, Choko, Mamprobi, Kolebu, and communities within all these areas. Ablekuma West, which includes Dansoman, Otojo, Mamponsi, and communities within that area. We have Ablekuma North Municipality, which includes Dakoman, Kokompe, and communities within that area. We also have Ablekuma Central Municipality, which includes Latobio Kwashi and communities within that area. We have Ga West Municipality, which includes Amasaman and communities within that area. Ga North Municipality, which includes Ofanko and communities within that area. Ga South Municipality, which includes English, Yamanfro and communities within that area. Okaikwe North Municipality, which includes Abeka and La Paz and communities within these areas. We have Ayawaso Central Municipal, which includes Kokomlemle and communities within that area. We also have Ga Central Municipal, which includes Sotuom and communities within that area. We have Weja Gbawe Municipal, which includes Weja and communities within that area. We have Ayawaso North Municipal, which includes Accra Newtown and communities within that area. Kole Klote Municipal, which includes Adabraka and communities within that area. We also have Ayawaso East Municipal, which includes Nima and parts of that municipality. Let's have a conversation on the back of this, and I've been joined by the PRO for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly for a short conversation. Good afternoon, welcome to the show. How is the AMA enforcing this ban?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and let me say good afternoon to your church viewers and listeners as well. Just as you said, the ban on drumming and noise has taken effect. The mayor of the city of Accra, the first female mayor, Honorable Elizabeth Kwachunteria Sekpaki, last Friday met the Security Council together with members from the traditional council to firm up the preparations towards the ban and look at issues of enforcement. So it falls in place to talk about enforcement. Then let me say that as part of efforts to ensure that these directives is really enforced, there is a team made up of personnel from the police service, the Ghana Traditional Council, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, coming together to ensure that they move around these areas you have mentioned to ensure that people adhere to the directive and ensure that we have a peaceful and a more quiet, serene environment during this season as the people of Ghana prepares for the Ahomawok Festival.
Right. So the AMA is obviously taking lead on this drive to reduce the noise level in Accra, which is a very good thing. However, should this not be seen throughout the year to ensure that compliance is always adhered to?
Of course. It really falls in place, and just as you've reasoned, we've had some concerns over the years that when the ban takes effect, you have some quiet, serene environment, and it is very. As I speak to you now, I'm within the Central Business District, and you won't even hear the usual horns from the transport operators all around. The environment is quite serene, and we appreciate the fact that it's upon us to ensure that as we lift the ban, measures are also put in place to get the noise levels down. But let me say that in this very instance, there is a total ban. So if you look at the churches this time around, they are expected to even refrain from the use of musical instruments. If you see these other guys coming in to do these preachings and mounting speakers and all that, they are all expected to desist from all these very acts. Even if you find yourself in your vehicle, you cannot open the volume to the extent that people around will hear whatever is happening.
Right.
So this is a total ban, and probably that contributes to the call to ensure that after the ban there is some.
Okay. Grateful for talking to us this afternoon. Let's now step out to see how residents of some of the affected areas are adhering to the ban. Ignite media journalist Kofi Otuo-Bekwin joins me now for more on this. Kofi, what have you gathered so far? Are the noise levels down? Hello, Kofi, can you hear me?
On any normal day, when you visit the Tema station, you'll be greeted with so much noise. But today, May 9th, the narration is different as the state ban on noise making and drumming commenced today. We are currently at the Tema station in the Greater Accra metropolis to the situation is ongoing, or how is the situation with the ban on drumming and noise making from the gas state. As you can see, there's much calm here at the Tema station, and all the station, the substation within the station who uses the public address system to announce their destinations to the passengers are on hold, as everyone is adhering to the guidelines that have been put in place to ensure the ban on drumming and noise making to be observed throughout 1 month duration, which have been set for these activities. Earlier on, we visited a place like Kimbo, where there's so much noise also there. You may see drivers, preachers preaching using megaphones and so on. But also the place, that place, the narration is also different. The place is very calm this morning when I visited there. There's no pastors preaching with megaphone. But what you could see is that they are holding their Bible and then preaching one-on-one with the traders here at the various stations that I visited in Tudu. Also at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, the situation is same there. There wasn't any much noise over there. What you could observe, or what we observed, was the men shouting for goods and services over there.
Hello, Kofi,
and
can you hear me?
As you are monitoring, or as you're watching at the Tema station, there's no much noise. When we spoke to some of the authorities who are in charge of the various substations within the Tema station here, they told us that the AMA has issued a warning to them that the ban on drumming and noise making commenced today. So they are entreating everyone to observe it and then to also obey the rules and regulation regarding this noise making or this ban. And they are all observing it, and they are making sure that their members do not go against the laws or the regulation that has been set for them to observe this 1 month ban duration.
Kofi Bekwin, thank you very much. Away from that story, the labor front in the country may soon be hit by another industrial action. This is because the Executive Council of the University for Development Studies branch of the Senior Staff Association of the Universities of Ghana has indicated its intent to strike from Thursday, May 12, 2022.
The issues outlined as reasons for the indefinite strike include failure by the university's management to respect and implement the prudent and professional recommendations by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission on the concerns of the senior staff in relation to qualification requirement for progression and upgrading of senior member grade as contained in a letter dated December 24, 2021. The senior staff of UDS have also described what they term capricious and whimsical application of administrative rules by some heads within the university. The notice, served on May 5, 2022, and signed by the chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Ghana, UDS branch, Zakaria Mohammed, went on to say that some unprovoked and unprofessional frustrations and attritions have led to a series of regrettable and painful resignation, which is a big loss to the university. Due to these and other issues, the branch has served notice that if by Wednesday, May 11, 2022, these concerns are not fully and properly investigated and addressed, members will embark on an indefinite strike against management.
So management of the University for Development Studies has been in a meeting on this matter, and Public Relations Officer for the institution, Abdulhai Mumin, joins me on the phone for a conversation on this particular development. Thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Mumin. How has management received this notice to strike, especially after the Vice Chancellor announced an initiative to absorb students from Ukraine?
Well, thank you very much. One would have wished that there's been a fresh week, that conversations would have centered around the more positive news of integrating displaced brothers and sisters in Ukraine back home and getting them back on track in respect of their education. Unfortunately, of course, it's also important to talk about welfare of the persons who work within whichever organization, including that of the university community. But regarding the issue of the intended strike, what I can tell you right now is that management will this afternoon be meeting with the leadership of the Senior Staff Association, who have threatened to go on the strike on the 12th if nothing is done about the demands they have made in respect of promotions to senior member status and so on. So the status right now is that the meeting hasn't yet started. And once the meeting starts and ends, and whatever decisions and agreements and, if you like, concessions that come up, the university will certainly reach back to Metro TV and ensure that you get that information.
Okay, and I'd also like to find out how management has handled recommendations by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, to upgrade the senior staff there.
Okay, so even as we speak, just about 2 weeks ago, there were interviews for some senior staff to be promoted to the rank of senior members in the university. And those interviews have also been scheduled in the subsequent weeks. Some of those interviews have also been scheduled for subsequent weeks. So that's what I can tell you, that already persons who were senior staff have been promoted to, then I'm talking about this year, to the rank of senior members. And these promotions and interviews are ongoing for all levels at the university community. And so, yes, it's a process and not an event. That process may look like it is delaying in the sight of some persons, understandably so, but also you would bear with me that when you are dealing with a bureaucracy where things have to be done in a certain way, where you have to respect regulations and laws, where references have to be made to institutions outside of the institution where the problems emanate, that there will be some, depending on where you sit, you can call it a delay, but it's better to go through the due process than to rush through and then later face some legal issues which may be very, very difficult to unravel at the end of the day. So if there are any delays in the implementations of some of these recommendations, it's not because somebody somewhere is certain on those recommendations. It's just because those same recommendations require that the university goes through some bureaucratic processes so as to ensure that everything is done and done legally.
Okay, Abdulhai Mumin, thank you very much for speaking to us this afternoon. He is the head of communications at the University for Development Studies in Tamale. You're welcome back. Police in the Central Region have launched investigations to arrest individuals suspected to have stoned to death a man they believed had stolen a bunch of plantain at Mankasim. The deceased, identified as Caleb Okran, an unemployed 25-year-old man, was tied with a nylon rope to a palm tree and stoned to death.
The assemblyman for the Mankasim Estate Anafo electoral area, Cephas Arthur, in an interview, said the incident was a third in a week. He described the development as worrying and a security threat. A family member of the deceased, Mohammed Akol, appealed to the Ghana police to intensify its patrol duties to stop the barbaric act of instant justice in the community.
We do not have enough police officers here. The community is also not easily accessible. So it is up to us to protect ourselves to prevent incidences like this.
The assemblyman cautioned the youth against petty theft in the area to avoid finding themselves in such a situation. He however called for the perpetrators to be well dealt with when found.
We are appealing to Ghana Police Service and also the young ones as well. This time around, the economy is very hard. Nobody will allow for you to just enter his or her room to steal or take anything away. Indeed, when you are caught, this is what they will do to you. We cannot tell as to what transpired to this boy's death, but we are appealing to the youth.
Meanwhile, the body of the deceased has been kept at the Salt Pond Government Hospital morgue as the police continue with investigations.
Meanwhile, the Mankasim Divisional Crime Officer ASP Robert Awampaga details us on progress made so far with investigations into the crime.
There have been some suspected cases where they lynch people. They suspect that they are thieves or whatnot, but we don't know whether it's true that they are thieves or not. Just about on the 2nd May, there's one papa, Ata Papa, he was lynched by a mob. And we went there, we were called upon, we went and carried the body to the mortuary. We are still going on with investigations to know what actually caused that thing. It's a mystery, which we want to unravel. They say he has stolen, but we don't even know what he has stolen. But the family they've not come around yet to identify him. And just recently, another guy was killed, tied him to palm trees, claiming that he went and stole. They had 2 bunches of plantain lying by him, claiming that he stole the plantain. That body too has been conveyed to Sopon Hospital. Our information is that he was with some other guys when they attacked them. They arrested him and they went and killed. So we're now looking, there's a serious manhunt for the one whom he was moving with. We've got his brother and he mentioned his name too. So that case is under investigation. We are very sure that we'll come to the bottom of that matter. The boy currently is at large, but there are people, informants, who are trying to assist us to get him. So when we are able to get him, he will also tell us, he will identify those who actually attack the deceased person. We're only trying to advise the family that if they get any information, any piece of information involving criminals, they should come to us. We are prepared to assist them. They should not take the law into their own hands. They should just hand over to the police. But some of them some of them also have criminal records, and some of them may even be behind these killings. So we are advising the general public that if you want to form Warrior Community, come and see us. Our doors are open. We will educate you as to what to do.
Away from the central region, the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II says government's flagship program, the Free Senior High School Initiative, is taking a huge toll on the national budget despite the country's meager resources. The Asantehene did not only bemoan the financial impact of the policy, but also expressed concern about its possible impact on unemployment levels in the country. Let's listen to him.
We ascended the Golden Stool 23 years ago. We proclaimed education as the ultimate priority of our reign. In furtherance of our priority, we established a foundation to support the education of children from poor backgrounds. It has become, so far, the largest private intervention in education in the country's history and has provided for students who would otherwise have been deprived of basic education. Among them, persons who have risen to serve as ministers of state and justices of the courts. Now, the current government has introduced free education up to senior high school, which now ensures that all Ghanaian children from whatever background are guaranteed free education. Considering the value of education to the nation, this must be one of the boldest policies of the nation. But it also brings its challenges. It puts a huge strain on the national budget and raises further challenge about the creation of jobs for the increasing number of graduates. I'm sure the brilliant minds assembled here in this audience and beyond will be reassured that Ghana is on the right path, able to weather the storm and sustain its chosen democratic path, and deserves a fulsome support and collaboration from the United States of America.
And since the free senior high school policy is in the news, let's go to our video wall and look at government's expenditure on the policy over the years. So in 2017, government spent 480 million Ghana cedis on the policy. In 2018, government allocated 1,137,861,816 Ghana cedis. In 2019, it was allocated 1,682,641,924 Ghana cedis. In 2020, we had an allocation of 2,429,257,748 Ghana cedis. And in 2021, we had a budget allocation for the free senior high school in the range of 1.97 billion Ghana cedis. We've had a total amount of 7,699,761,488 Ghana cedis allocated to government's flagship free senior high school policy since 2017. So what does this mean? We've been joined by economist Daniel Enim for more on this. Daniel, welcome to the show. What are your initial reaction to the Asantehene's assertion on the flagship senior high school policy?
Thank you very much. I think I agree with His Royal Highness on the first point he made, that a free, educated citizens is very key and critical. The second issue he raised, which have to do with the aspect of funding free SHS, and that is also true. Indeed, the cost of free SHS is gradually increasing, but I still believe that the free SHS policy, to me, is a very progressive policy. What ought to be done is finding an innovative way of funding the free SHS without curtailing or compromising quality. To me, that is very key and critical.
Okay.
What I would recommend is that, if you recall, during the peak of the COVID-19, we introduced COVID-19 levy, that is 1%. I will recommend that now that, by God's grace, the pandemic is getting out of the system, we could take maybe, if not all the 1%, maybe about 0.8% of that particular proceed to fund the free SHS, because we need to look for an innovative means of doing so. I believe strongly that we need to develop the human capital of this nation. In doing that, we must allow people access. Education shouldn't be on the score that if you are not from a middle class or the upper class, you don't have access to quality education.
Right.
So it is on this score, I believe that free SHS is a very progressive one, but the funding is an issue, more importantly, because of the challenges that the economy is going through.
Okay.
We need to...
Right. Daniel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, there have been suggestions that it should be reviewed. For example, people are saying that people who are capable of paying for the school fees of their children should be made to pay, and those who cannot pay should be catered by government so that the allocation reduces a little bit. Do you agree with them?
I do. I have shared similar sentiment on a number of platforms. My recommendation is that we have certain category of schools that we know that those who could afford, in terms of the fees, send their kids to the first class schools, let's say the first class category of schools. So we could allow students from the first category of schools to pay fees, and maybe second category, we can give them a 50% discount, and those at the third category or the last category could be allowed to pay a fee. So we need to do what could be described as a discrimination, so those who could afford, or if the person is going to Ifantipin Achimota College, is going to Wesley Girls, Holy Child, and the like, they should be asked to pay, because we know parents could afford. And those who will go to the same schools in my village, should be supported because they are coming from a very poor background. So if we do that, that will minimize the cost aspect of funding the free SHS.
Right. Looking at the total budget allocation of 7 billion Ghana cedis, how severe is the situation on our economy?
Personally, it shouldn't have any significant impact had it not because of the current economic development in the country. As at the time where our economy was growing around 6.5 to 7% on average of GDP, 7.6 billion should be a major issue. But now that we're facing some challenges, the government is looking for a lot of liquidity to be able to stimulate economic growth. It is now an
Daniel,
issue.
I'm afraid for the sake of time, we'll have to end the conversation here, but thank you very much for speaking to us this afternoon. Let's talk about the weather, as the Ghana Meteorological Agency has noted the coastal line and marine space of the country looks unstable at the moment, projecting the possibility of rains across that line today, thereby asking the public to take due note and act accordingly. Let's check the video wall to see some of the areas which may experience rainfall today. And it says a moderate rainstorm has been sighted today, May 9, 2022, at 7 local time over the eastern border of Ghana's marine space. And the areas and surrounding areas to be affected include Aflao, Denu, Keta, Aloga, Sogakope, Adanfoa, Totope, Sege, Pram, Tema, Accra, Winneba, Mankasim, Cape Coast, Elmina, Abuaze, Takrade, Axim, and Nkrofu. So if you live within these areas, remember to carry along an umbrella today. It's now time for business, and Winston Taki is standing by with the latest. Winston, take us away.
Thanks, Ken. It's time to bring your business right after this. And now to our first business story. The Ghana Grid Company has explained that the power outages that occurred on May 7 was experienced in part of Accra, where as a result of the system disturbance caused by faulty equipment on the Takrade Extension Winneba line.
A statement issued on Sunday, May 8, said this caused all generating plants in Abuaje, Bui, and Kpong to shut down. The statement also said plants in Tema were also forced to shut down, except for the Kpong Thermal Power Plant. This caused forced outages within the coastal corridor of National Grid, which led to power supply interruptions in some parts of Greater Accra, Western Central, Middle and Northern parts of the country. The statement added that the restoration began immediately and the supply was restored to all bulk supply points by May 7th. Gridco also disclosed that the incident left only the Akosombo and Kpong thermal power supply at the time. Meanwhile, it has assured the public that it will continue to work toward providing a reliable power system for the country's socio-economic development.
Now, a manager at the Executive Office of the Ghana Company, Gridco, Emmanuel Santi, spoke about the power outage, and we have more on this report.
We are not getting to that point. It's just a technical issue in the network that occurred on Saturday. As you know, we are working with machines, and once in a while, then we do the maintenance very well. Once in a while, we get some of these issues. So it's not about things, so it's just a technical issue that unfortunately occurred on Saturday, and we have to quickly respond. So you will note that it's been a long time since we had this large-scale outage in this country. What it means is that we are very much on top of our maintenance and operations. Every equipment, we have a program of maintenance for every equipment in Gridco, and it's a program that we follow to the letter. We leave nothing to chance. So if it's about maintenance, we are very much on top of it, and we adhere to the frequency as espoused by the manufacturers and based on our historical experiences with maintenance.
There have been situations where customers or consumers have asked for notice ahead of such power outages. In this point, we didn't have such a notice.
Okay, so we have two types of maintenance that we do. We have the planned outage, planned maintenance, which if there is a need for outage to customers, we are required by the PURCR to inform you ahead of time. That we follow duly. If we have any maintenance and there is going to be an outage, we are required to do that. We do that religiously. There's the other side of it where we have to react, and that is reactive maintenance. That's what happened on Saturday. And that one, we cannot actually tell when it's going to happen. And that is why sometimes we are unable to come to the customer to tell them that, hey, Charlie, you are going to go off this and no. It's just like your car. When your car is sometimes going to break down, it doesn't give you any notice. Before you know, the car cannot start. That's how the system runs. So if it's something that is planned, we come ahead of time to inform the Ghanaians of the outage. But in this case, it wasn't planned. It just came in unexpectedly.
He spoke with my colleague Alberta Bisu. Now to other story. The acting executive director of the Gridga, Samuel Amega-Wibo, says the real estate industry has developed and therefore individuals who desire to purchase or own a home should engage the services of a valuer in order to ascertain the actual cost of the property. This comes in the face of estate owners overpricing properties on the market.
This is a property today and the next morning you are hot. And that one is not sustainable. Yes. You need to evaluate yourself and find out what is your affordability. And that comes to purchasing power. Then you also, after determining the purchasing power, you have to look at competing factors. What are the other things that you need? Either you are taking this decision alone or you are taking this decision with your family. There may be other competing factors that you need to look at before you take that decision. And then sustainability in terms of whether you can sustain the purchasing. You can purchase. Some of the professionals in the system can aid you. They can look at your property and do some small technical analysis of how the property looks like and give you a fair idea of what they think it should cost. But a buy estate, and the moment they move into it, they are billed or they are sent with an invoice that you have to pay so much every month for service fee for the where you are living, and it becomes a problem. Some of them is either they did not even look at what they were signing for before they signed. But if you are living in an estate, Death Traco, Lakeside, and all this beautiful estate that you go to, and you are not willing to pay a service fee for those common areas, so that you live as an estate, then it is not worth it. But you must know. It's something you should know before you buy, because sometimes the complaint is that the service fee is as high as rental.
That'll be all for business here on Newsbeat. My name is Winston Taki. Phil John Quarter is standing by with sports.
To extend their lead on the log when Aduana Stars denied a victory at the Babaya Sports Stadium. Head coach of Kotoko, Prosper Natilgum, reacted after the tie.
We didn't lose. We drew. We played better, but playing better doesn't give you the points. You need to score. So I think we need to make sure that we do the right things at the right time. If we had gotten these points, we would have widened the gap between us and those behind us. But that is what we've gotten for today. We need to make sure that we keep our heads up, our chest out, no blame game. Make sure that what we did wrong, we get those things right, and what we did right, we consolidate them. I mean, we have to do our homework well, make sure that we play well. they have a good pitch like we also have. The only thing we have to do now is to convert the numerous chances that we create. In terms of playing, we circulate the ball well, we use the spaces very well, we create a lot of chances. We have to keep our focus in front of goal and make sure that we score. If you see the numerous chances that we got, I mean, this game shouldn't have ended 1-1. It should have.
Prosper Natiogo is in charge of Kotoko, reacting after they were held by Viana Star at Babaya Sports Stadium. Still on the Ghana Premier, the Phobians share points with Bichem United when they both settled 1-1 after the 90 minutes.
During the first half, there was incidents that I think that is in our favor, but the referee himself knows the right decision, so that's the reason why I was complaining with those things. Scoring abilities, but I sat down with them and we talked and we practiced it, and I think that it now got into their head, and I believe, though we squandered a lot of chances, but I believe gradually it will also come. Yeah, that's our hallmark, but it's quite unfortunate that we didn't start this season.
Samuel Buedo is in charge of the Phobians. Now let's see the results at glance and find out how your team performed. Good Olympics managed to beat Brecum Chelsea by 2-0 on Friday. Saturday, Bichem has settled for 1-1. Kotoko also did the same with Viana Stars at the Babaya Sports Stadium. Dreams FC settled 2-2 with RTU. Let's go straight to the EPL and find out how Liverpool failed against Tottenham. 1-1 ended at Anfield. Chelsea, in the presence of their new owner, also drew 2-2 with Wolves, whilst Brighton managed to pounce on Manchester United. 4-0 ended. Arsenal seems to be cruising to the top four. They managed to beat Leeds United by 2-1, whilst Manchester City had no mercy on Newcastle United, putting 5 past them and extending their lead to 3 points over Liverpool. Well, just before we walk away and make way for entertainment, remember today marks exactly 21 years after the May 9 disaster. There's a ceremony at Accra Sports Stadium. Later, I'll bring you all the details being organized by the National Sports Authority and the Sports Ministry to mark the day. That's your sports. My name is Phil John Korte, Harris smiling and ready to bring you news coming from the VGMA.
Thank you, Johnny. It's time for entertainment news. Multiple award-winning musician Kiddy has held an appreciation party for winning the Artist of the Year at the just-ended Vodafone Ghana Music Awards over the weekend. The touched hitmaker expresses excitement on winning the ultimate award, including 4 other awards. My colleague Desmond Krekudanso was there at the party and had a chat with the singer.
The Artist of the Year at the 2022 Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. Kiddy, he's right here. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I mean, we saw the switching when Marco Krugumante was mentioning it. What was going through your mind?
I thought he was coming to mess with me again like last year. You know, he likes playing games, but shout out to Honorable, shout out to everybody. It's an exciting time, so we're here to celebrate. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
Last year when you did not win it, I mean, a lot of people were talking. I'm sure as an artist, when you know you've worked so much and things like this do happen. Last year to this year, what plan did you put in place to make sure that, this year I've got to take it?
It's not about a plan, it's about just working hard. Don't plan no day. If you want to win, you just work hard. So it's like, if you don't win, you go back to the drawing board, keep working hard. Whatever you're doing, keep doing, make sure you're doing it more. And when it's your time to win, you end up winning, Yeah.
You're doing a lot of stuff. I mean, you've gone to the UK with Kwame Eugene, you've shut it down. You're now the Artist of the Year. The next 12 months, what more should we be seeing of Kiddy?
It's all about the music for me, so it's more music. We'll still keep releasing more music, more bangers, more albums, more projects, more tours. So the work continues. This is not a time to relax, not a time to slow down. It's a time to actually keep going harder and harder. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Yeah.
I predicted the Golden Boy album. What was that thing about the Golden Boy album?
I don't know. I just think from Sugar to Blue EP to Golden Boy, they've all been taking awards. So I just put a lot of time and effort into my project, and I'm happy and grateful that people are able to recognize and appreciate it. Yeah.
Is there any kind of pressure on you? I mean, as you've won over the years, now you're Artist of the Year.
I won Artist of the Year last year and 3 Music. The thing is, I want it again. It's about keep working. Ejumana is all about the music. You have to keep working. There's no pressure. Do the work, and even if you don't win itself, the work is more important. Make sure you're putting out good music, making people happy, and all of that.
That's all for entertainment news on Newsbeat. My name is Harriet Adi Ken.
Thank you very much, Harriet. International news is next. Let's take you to the DRC, where dozens of people were killed after armed men raided a gold mine in Jugu in the Democratic Republic of Congo on Sunday. According to a local official, 29 bodies had been retrieved from the artisanal mine. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.